contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Bagels & Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. February's cream cheese flavor is white chocolate raspberry. Pair it with a strawberry cold foam. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels & Joe.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome everybody in Ticket Weekends. Nick Whyman alongside Tristan Gomes. I will say it right. I will not pull an Austin. That'll be a joke till the end of time now, but that is what it will be. We're here, Ticket Weekends, here for the next hour, as a lot of stuff going on across Husker land. As basketball has just tipped off, tennis starting at the top of the hour. They're undefeated, men's tennis playing Ole Miss, and then you have women's basketball. So later this afternoon, gymnastics. There's something for everybody. Tristan, how you doing? You just got here. How you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, it's a great day for Husker athletics. Opening day yesterday for Husker softball, came out with a win early in the opening game against Washington, dropped one to Texas, but a lot to be excited about, like you said, in Husker land right now.
There's a lot going on. I watched the softball games. We'll get into that in the second segment later, just Nebraska softball. If you didn't know, they played 2 games yesterday, 2 ranked games too, to start off the year. Played 25 Washington at 1 o'clock, and then they capped off the night, broke the attendance record there at UTSA Roadrunner Field. Texas and Nebraska. It was a little over 1,000 fans, but it's not the biggest ballpark, but still broke an attendance record on the first day of competition as they played number 1 Texas, and Texas was as advertised, as we'll get into that later. But as of right now, we're about a minute in. Nebraska men's basketball. It's been a while since they played. They got the week off, haven't played since Sunday, coming off 2 back-to-back losses. on the road in Piscataway as they are playing the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, who come in with a 9-14 record, 2-10 in conference play. It's been a weird week because we've been used to Nebraska playing maybe a weekend game and then maybe a midweek game, like a Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe a Thursday. And then this week they got a little bit of a rest day, which is, I think they came at the right time, like perfectly right time, Tristan.
I agree. I think you have those 2 losses to top 5 ranked opponents now. And I think it's good. You know, Rink was dealing with the flu for a little bit, and now hopefully he's back healthy. And then, yeah, you have another big game after this one against Purdue. But this is a Rutgers team that's record does not show very highly of them. But it's still a tough place to play, especially when you're traveling from Lincoln, Nebraska to Piscataway, New Jersey. It's not always the easiest just to show up and play an 11 o'clock game, 12 o'clock there. So I think today all it is just, all right, get back on the right track. Because those losses that Nebraska had, those weren't anything negative in a sense. Obviously you want to win those, but I don't think they were games where you looked at and said, oh my gosh, what's wrong? It was just, yeah, we played some tough opponents, didn't play our best basketball, and now it's just, all right, let's get back on track. And I think that's the plan today up in Piscataway.
It's kind of interesting. This reminds me kind of the Minnesota game, 11 o'clock game a couple weeks ago up at the barn. We were here, and it was a bring your own energy kind of game. Currently, if you're watching, Nebraska's 17 and a half remaining in the first half. Nebraska leads 9-5. So far off on the right foot. You'd like to see that coming away, especially against a team who's desperate for a win. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of like Minnesota, kind of like Northwestern. Those games were Saturday games earlier in the morning, afternoon time slate, around noon. And the team Nebraska, the opposition, was kind of desperate for a win just because of how the season has kind of transpired for them. And Rutgers is kind of in that same boat. If you look at their schedule, their last win was Sunday, January 11th. They haven't won a game in almost, was that 3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Almost a month.
So if you go down the schedule, and some of their losses, you like you said, like look at the schedule, you know, they're 9-14, 2-10 in conference play compared to Nebraska, 20-2, 9-2 in Big Ten play. They before their last win, they beat Northwestern in overtime 77-75. Before that, they got blown out by Illinois, and that was Illinois before Illinois turned into what they have been over the past 10 days. Played Wisconsin and lost 96-87, then lost to Iowa 68-62, Indiana 82-59 on a losing end of that one. Took Michigan State to overtime on January 27th, fell 88-79. Then go down to the West Coast trip this past week. They lose to USC on January 31st, 78-75. And then ugly one against UCLA. UCLA beats them 98-66. So what does Rutgers have to do? Let's look at the Rutgers side of things here. What does Rutgers have to do here? Because some of those games, take a top 10 team to overtime, they get another chance at a top 10 team here. But other than that, it's some of those losses are just been ugly.
Yeah, I think for Rutgers, one, you're playing at home and you're playing a top tier opponent in Nebraska, which is pretty cool that we get to say that now that Nebraska's 20-2. But yeah, you're playing a very high quality team. All you want to do when you're playing at home is just continue to keep it close. I think where Nebraska has, had some droughts before has been when they're just knocking down threes and they're not able to get to the lane. So find a way to put pressure, get a hand up. Don't let Price get hot. Don't let Jamarcus or Rink get hot. And then, how do you contain Frager and Sam Hoiberg just to make sure that don't let anyone get into a rhythm? I think that's where Nebraska absolutely thrives, is when you have multiple scorers, you have the ability to have one guy, almost be a decoy. I think Rink has been quite that a lot of this season, and that's where Price and Jamarcus and even Braden Frager have showed up. So I think if you're Rutgers, the only thing that you really need to do is keep it close, and then don't let anyone get hot, because that's where Nebraska absolutely thrives.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line 402-464-5685. You're currently watching the game. Nebraska 11-10 lead early, about 4 minutes in. If you're watching on Facebook, X, YouTube, or Allo, channel 9 Supline, we'd love to see you chime in and talk with me and Tristan here on 93.7 The Ticket or at theticketfm.com. So far, you talk about players who have kind of been, the last couple of weeks has been Price Stanford's kind of been the hot hand. Sam Hoiberg's been having his kind of games. Rick Mass so far, he's been kind of the talkie point about he's been cold. He's trying to get his feet back under him. He had that sickness out in Ann Arbor, had to go to the ER, dehydration and whatnot. He's already got 5 points so far. 5 points so far, 2 of 3 shooting, made a 3. that's awesome to see for Nebraska. I would assume that's a guy that you need to get going. He kind of started the season as the hot hand, and the last couple weeks, for obvious reasons, he's been kind of cold. And we saw that against Illinois. He was over for a long time from the floor, and then finally got something to go in the end. I mean, that last bucket against Illinois, maybe, hey, momentum carries over. And I think that's what you're trying to see here, right here, Tristan.
100%. He's a guy we've always joked around. He's just kind of like a mini Jokic. He can be a facilitator. He can also get some buckets. Obviously, been dealing with a pretty bad flu, and then also even previous games, just not getting into a rhythm, which I think has helped. Price and Jamarcus gets their feet wet and just continue to absolutely ball out and get their shots up. But just how diverse this team can be when Rink is knocking down shots from three, but he's also getting to the lane. Because that's what I think Nebraska has lacked a little bit in these past 2 games, is just getting into the lane, drawing some contact, getting some fouls. And I think Rink is the guy to do that. And once he gets, confident and he continues to get back to what we saw at the beginning of the season, this team is really hard to beat. Like, you have so many different weapons that you have to stop. I think we always talk about in college basketball, you think of like a Kansas and Derek Peterson, or a BYU with DeBonsa. Like, you stop them, you have a really good shot of winning the game. With Nebraska, you stop Price Sanford. If Rink's hot, Jamarcus is hot, they're really hard to beat. And that's, you could put that any way you want. So if we get Rink comfortable and he just continues to grow off this early hot start, this team's hard to beat.
14:52 left to go in the first half. Just took the first media timeout. Nebraska holding a 14-10 lead. Scoring breakdown so far: Rink Mast with 5, Sam Hoiberg with 4, and Price Sanford with 3. He is 1 of 1 from 3. Price, I mean, he's going to get his buckets. I mean, Rutgers, I'm assuming knows to zone in on him because he's kind of the guy who's been able to light a spark. But we haven't seen Braden Frager yet. I'm hoping to see a lot of him. And let's talk a little bit about him, because he comes off has his injury that kind of just happens because he rolls his ankle. And ankle injuries are weird. You never know if they're super severe or not. Luckily, he only missed a handful of games. It's a huge ovation against the Illinois game, and he was able to score 20 points to lead them off the bench. Would you ever consider putting him in kind of starting lineup at this rate? Because he's been able to do that, but I don't think you break anything, because don't fix what's not broken. Because 2 losses, it's not the end of the world. I don't think you have to make any crazy adjustments with the lineup, but just talk a little about how he's kind of been able to light that spark off the bench. Even when he was hurt, he's able to come back and be able to continue to play at a high level.
Yeah, honestly, I think Husker Nation and Fred Hoiberg and that staff really like him coming off the bench at that 6th man role, just because in college basketball, it's very hard to have a lot of depth. And so when you have, let's say, your top 4 scorers just in the starting lineup, and you don't have anyone really off the bench, maybe besides Cale Jacobson, if Frager's in the lineup, that can really, be a spark and get some buckets. Also, I think it's just a matchup nightmare when, a guy like Braden Frager comes off the bench and other teams go, oh, it's one of their bench guys. And then you go, oh, wait, we have to stop this guy from scoring because he's going to find a way to get to the rim and he's going to knock down 3-pointers. So I like kind of the role that he's in right now. I don't think, like you said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I also feel like he's pretty confident, like coming off the bench and just knowing he's going to get his minutes. I mean, when you look at the minutes, it's not like he's, just a bench guy who's only getting 10, 15 minutes a game. He's playing 30 plus minutes in most games. So I like where he's at right now. I think it really just works. There's very little depth for a lot of college basketball teams, and Nebraska has some.
And so far, Rink Mast looks as comfortable. Okay, Nebraska so far shooting 71% and just looking crisp so far. And we talked about that. You go on the road. Piscataway's a pretty far trip for Nebraska. And did you see the Rutgers, how they're trying to draw fans at this game? They have a rare rare anime trading card giveaway, pretty much. And the ticket sales, the price is skyrocketed for this giveaway they're doing, basically. They're selling it on the second market. So the only time I've seen Rutgers this year, they played Indiana. It was when they had a ton of snow up there a couple weeks ago, and there weren't that many fans. They moved it up to like a 5:00 local time tip just to get the game in and get Indiana out of there. And it wasn't very full. It looks like a solid attendance. I mean, it's hard to tell how many fans are Nebraska fans too, because there's so much red and white with both teams. But
that's an odd crowd to have. How many actual basketball fans do you have there, or is this stadium or arena packed with just a whole bunch of trading card
collectors? I mean, they're here for the game, and so far, they've been able to they're kind of holding their own so far with Nebraska. 14-12. Looking at their team this year, Tariq Francis is kind of their guy. He averages 16 and a half points per game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He's their prototypical, like, he's going to be the scorer. He's the guy that they want the ball in his hands. And so far, so good for him so far. He's got 5 points to lead the way for the Scarlet Knights. But then after him, it's kind of, it's a little muddy. Dylan Grant averages 10 a game. Outside of those two, nobody else in double-digit scorings this year. So Rutgers, Nebraska should know who's going to be their guy, and he's going to get his buckets. You just got to stop everybody else and limit the rest of the Scarlet Knights' offense. But I mean, like you said, it's an early game. Bring your own energy. It's a trip across the nation. Nebraska will have to go the other way in a couple weeks down to California for a trip down there. But I figured. I mean, are you surprised that it's close so far? I mean, this kind of the feeling out process. The first, I'd say, 10 minutes of a basketball is usually feel what make the adjustments as they go, and then when right before the end of the first half is when you kind of start to realize, like, hey, we can do this and we can start to pull away.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about how Nebraska does so well with kill shots, which is 10 points or 10 unanswered points. And Nebraska is top 10 in the country when it comes to kill shots. And so I think when you watch a game like this, there are a few where it's not even that Nebraska starts slow, like you said. I think they're just getting a feel for the game, who's going to be the guys, what's, Rutgers' defensive plan. Because if you go into the game and you say, all right, let's get Price the ball, get him the shots, and he's getting doubled, or he has a guy that's chasing him the entire game, that makes it tough to have that be your game plan. So, yeah, I'm not too surprised that it's super close right now. And so I think, yeah, it's just going to be feeling it out. And once Nebraska gets an idea of, all right, what's this Rutgers defensive plan, we'll find a way to get guys the ball. Because whether it's Jamarcus Price, it's Rank, they'll have someone that kind of takes over that Rutgers didn't really prepare for or isn't keeping an eye on.
So we mentioned how Rutgers has one guy who's going to pretty much lead them in scoring so far. So early on, 16-16, 13 minutes to go in the first half, Darren Buchanan Jr. has been the guy to kind of step up so far for Rutgers. He averages 8.2 points per game, shoots 47% from the floor. He's already got 6 points. So Rutgers needs somebody like that, especially in this situation if they want to pull off an upset. But I'm not pushing the big red button yet. It's early. We're 7 minutes in. Nebraska's shooting pretty solid, 6 of 11, 2 of 5 from three-point range. Like you said, the kill shots, I think when Nebraska gets those shots to go down and gather momentum, I look at this kind of like a Washington game.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, Nebraska was close till about the 12-minute mark in the first half. The Huskies hung around, and then all of a sudden Nebraska put on a little bit of a run and just led by 10-plus points from that going on. I fully expect that for Nebraska. I know they suffered 2 losses, but I'm not worried. I don't think anybody should be worried.
Yeah, I think when Nebraska does extremely well, that many college basketball teams, quite frankly, don't, is they don't let their offense transition over to their defense. So let's say they are maybe a little slow on offense, which I wouldn't say they are right now, but if they're not just continuously going on runs and just scoring every single possession, they still get back on defense. They still find a way to, get stops, keep it close. So yeah, there's really no panic. I mean, we were even talking during that Minnesota game, there was no panic. There was no part that we were like, oh, no, like it's really close. Is Nebraska going to lose this? Just because they continuously find a way and they get hot, and then you win by double digits because you just make the other team so uncomfortable and they have no clue. Like it gets out of hand super quick. So when it's close and we're watching Nebraska, I think now we almost just think, all right, when's it just going to switch and Nebraska's going to go on a 10-0 run and Rutgers is going to be, out in the water with nothing to do.
So funny thing about Rutgers, we talk about Tariq Francis. He's their scorer. He's been coming off the bench majority of the year. I didn't know that until I looked now. This is his first start since Seton Hall. Let's look at their schedule. When was the last time he started? Since Seton Hall, you think, non-con game. The last time he started a game was December 13th in a loss to Seton Hall, 81-59. So almost 2 months ago was his last start, and here he is leading the team in scoring. I mean, I think Nebraska just gut it out, get a win, find a way, get back in the win column, because you never like to lose in sports, and this team was 20-0. And you lose 2 in a row, and I don't think anybody really hit the panic button just because you played Michigan in a close game where it came down to a couple possessions. Nebraska ended up going cold down the stretch. And then Illinois, you just ran into probably the hottest team in the entire sport. So outside of that, I think you lose those 2 games, it's not a bad loss.
Yeah, I think as fun as it was, I don't think anyone really expected Nebraska to just go undefeated. That wasn't as cool as that would have been. And them going into March Madness or, winning, being perfect in the regular season, maybe winning the Big Ten tournament. Like, how great would that be? It wasn't realistic. I mean, we even look at so many other really good basketball teams. I mean, like we think of Duke, who has a loss. Like multiple teams, Michigan loses to Wisconsin. This is it's a wild sport where on any given day, someone can get hot. And yeah, when your two losses are to, arguably the two top teams in the Big Ten right now, if Nebraska being up there as well, there's really nothing to worry about. If they do drop a game like this, then you get a little worried, or that one to Minnesota or one to Washington. But they really handle business in those ones. And I think that's what gives not only us as fans, but just that team so much confidence, is just knowing, yeah, we win the games that we should. We play extremely well in the games that we maybe fall in these last two, but you still find a way to be competitive. And then, yeah, you go to Piscataway where you kind of just, even right now, only up by 4, they find a way to just control the game. They control the tempo. And at any given moment, they're just going to go ballistic and Rutgers is going to have no shot. That's the goal. But yeah, it's a crazy game. And I think, yeah, it's about getting back in the win column, getting ready for, don't want to look too ahead as you're playing right now, but then preparing for that Purdue game. And then just, yeah, finishing off this Big Ten regular season strong. So when you get into the tournament, you're just as confident as ever.
And the season's going to go by quick. There's only a couple more weeks left. That we'll talk about it later. There's a loaded slate of college basketball today with the NFL college football season winding down. College basketball starts to take center stage on the weekends. 20-16, 10.5 to play in the first half. Let's shift gears for basketball. There is also another basketball game coming up here in a little under 2 hours, just down the road, Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nebraska returns home as they play number 22 Maryland in a Big Ten clash. Nebraska is trying to rebound after back-to-back road losses to top 12 teams. Nebraska lost to Michigan last time out, 88-76 in Ann Arbor. Maryland also made the trip to Ann Arbor, and they won 86-70. Traveled to Michigan, not Ann Arbor, East Lansing, excuse me. I can't get that wrong, or the Michigan faithful are going to be mad at me. They don't like each other up there. But regardless, Maryland beat Michigan State 86-70 in East Lansing last Wednesday. That snapped a 4-game skid for Maryland. So this game, Nebraska is in desperate need of a win over a top 25 team. Nebraska's been able to beat the teams they've on paper should beat. But they play these ranked teams like UCLA is kind of an outlier. Ohio State, those are two teams that are going to be projected to make the third weekend of the NCAA tournament, the women's basketball tournament. But against Michigan State, they were in that game. Michigan, they were in that game and then just kind of went cold. Wisconsin, a non-ranked team, but were in that game and just ended up on the wrong end. USC at home in a rare afternoon day game before New Year's. We're in that game, and USC went on a 10-0 stretch to win. Nebraska just needs a win over a top-ranked team, and they have a home game here, 1 o'clock. Wear your pink, breast cancer awareness, cancer awareness kind of game. They just in desperate need of finding a way to close out a game and win.
Yeah, the Big Ten, when it comes to women's basketball, you could say arguably from top to bottom is just the toughest conference. Obviously, the Big East has the UConn, and the SEC has the South Carolina and the Tennessee, but a lot of these teams that Nebraska are playing are ranked, and it's every night that you have a game, you're playing a really tough opponent like it is Michigan. And then, the Huskers are 12-2 at home this season with their only 2 losses coming to ranked opponents in UCLA and USC. So it's not like this Nebraska team is really struggling, but like you said, yeah, a win against a ranked opponent just builds the confidence even more. And it's the same thing as this men's basketball game that we're talking about. It's just finishing this regular season strong. So when you do get into the Big Ten tournament, you're feeling as confident as ever. And yeah, I trust the Huskers today, taking on the Terrapins at PBA in a home game, ranked opponent. I think it's going to be a really good atmosphere. And yes, it's breast cancer awareness. So wear your pink. And I think that's just going to be a great environment. And Nebraska, like you said, they're probably still feeling confident after you lose really tough games, to a number 8 Michigan where you were in it pretty much until the end. And so I think this is a game where you just bounce back and, have your leading scorers, have Britt kind of take over and just play hard the whole time.
You look 6 of Nebraska's 7 losses on the 2025-2026 season come against AP top 25 teams. All of them are ranked in UCLA number 2, Michigan number 6, Michigan State number 10, Iowa 14, Ohio State 18, USC 20. Those are the ones. And the 7th setback was a 1-possession midweek road loss to Wisconsin, 63-60 back on January 21st. So outside of 6 of your 7 losses are to ranked opponents, and you look at right now, I pull up the Big Ten women's standings. You're right. The Big Ten conference is deep. You have currently ranked 2 UCLA, 8 Michigan, 9 Ohio State, 10 Iowa, 12 Michigan State. That's the top 5 seeds right there. They own, what was that, 5 of the top 12 spots in women's college basketball. Washington just entered the top 25 at 24. Maryland, 22. Nebraska's certain. The hard thing is that all these are conference losses, so you're getting dragged down in the conference standings. Nebraska right now is 13th, 5-7 in the conference, tied with Wisconsin, and Purdue sitting behind them with 3 losses. So that's the only downfall, losing those close games to conference foes, is you're plummeting down the Big Ten standings, which will, when the Big Ten women's basketball tournament comes around, you're going to have to run the gauntlet, and there won't be as many buys and so on. But you have the opportunity. Maryland, 22 in the nation. I think Nebraska, like you said, they have the scores with Britt Prince, Amaya Hargroves entering the starting lineup. With Natalie Potts being medically redshirted, I think that was kind of a blow, because you were maybe expecting her to come back at some point, but now you're kind of just leaning on the dynamic duo of Britt Prince and Amaya Hargrove, and kind of hoping you can weather the storm and just get back in the win column. Because like you said, the losses they've had aren't like egregious. They're losing to ranked teams. UCLA, I think, is the outlier, because they are up there with teams who, like I said, if you're filling out a bracket, they're going to be a team that should be going far, just because of what they have, and they have one of the best players in the country, and that's what they're doing. So we're going to take a break real quick here on 947 The Ticket. Nebraska men's basketball currently playing 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. Nebraska leading 22-18 over Rutgers. We'll be back. We'll talk a little bit about Husker softball. They started their season yesterday in San Antonio at the UTSA Invite. We'll recap both those games. Coming up here, we'll be back here. Ticket Weekends, Nick Whyman and Tristan Gomes.
Here's Stacy from Petal Creations.
Ordering flowers is intimidating if you don't know what you're doing.
Petal Creations experts care about designing a bouquet that conveys your special message from the heart.
You deserve to have a personal florist that you can depend on, who can take your message, turn it into a bouquet, and deliver it in a timely manner. And the rest is up to you.
Petal Creations in the Edgewood Shopping Center or at petalcreations.com.
So give us a call. We've got you.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Hey fellas, let's take a quick time out here. February is American Heart Month, and listen, men are the worst at getting checked out. We'll watch every stat in the league, but ignore the most important one. That's our own heart health. So here's the play. Talk to your doctor about scheduling a quick heart screening at Advanced Medical Imaging. It's fast, it's easy, and it could save your life. Your family needs you around a lot more than your fantasy team does. Make the call, get the checkup, take care of your heart at Advanced Medical Imaging. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of food for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Fleiker with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome, everybody, back to the 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street. Nick Whyman with you, and Tristan Gomes as well here. Rocking with you for till the top of the hour. Then Ray Lee Coe will be live, first serve. Nebraska basketball so far starting to kind of chip away, leading 27-20, under 8-minute timeout, 7:18 to go in the first half. Rink Mass leading the way with 7 points, shooting 50% from the floor and from beyond the arc. Cale Jacobson off the bench with 2, Jamarcus Lawrence with 5, Braden Frager with 2, and Sam Hoiberg with 4. So you like to see that Rink Mass is, before we move on to the next topic, you like to see that Rink Mass is starting to kind of find his own, find his role again after struggling from the floor, battling sickness, getting back in, and being able to kind of lead the offense again.
He's a guy that we need to get hot, I think, just going into tournament play when it comes to Big Ten and as well as March Madness. But I think, honestly, it's maybe helped that, he has been out to help, had a few guys had to step up. I think Cale Jacobson's getting more and more comfortable knowing he can also be a little bit in a scoring role or make some plays happen. And then, I think it's just given a whole bunch of confidence to Price and Jamarcus to just go, if Rink's not having his best day, we can find a way to score. But, Rink 100% is a guy that you want to just get back to where he was at the beginning of the season. And I don't think he was really, playing bad by any means. It was just shots weren't falling. And I think once he sees the ball go in the hoop quite a few more times, he's just going to get more and more confident. He's one of the most versatile players in the Big Ten. So when you have him going and you have some other guys like Price who can shoot the 3 ball like no other, it's a tough team to guard.
It's a good collaborative group, and it helps when you're playing conference games, especially in the Big Ten. Shifting gears over, Nebraska softball began their season. Depending on the poll you look at, according to the NCAA polls, Nebraska ranked number 9, facing number 25 Washington yesterday to begin the UTSA Invitational out in San Antonio at Roadrunner Stadium. Nebraska got a win to start off the season. He got off on the right foot, 8-5. Kind of a grinded out game. Alexis DeBoer for Washington, Kalen DeBoer's daughter. She had a home run in that game. And Alexis, a couple notes. Alexis Jensen Gretna graduate. She won state titles here in the state playing high school softball with the Gretna Dragons. Made her debut to start. It's a lot of pressure. Freshman getting out there. Hey, you're taking the ball in the circle to begin the 2026 campaign. We're trusting you to log some innings. In her debut in the 8-5 win over the Huskies, 5 innings pitched, allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs, but 10 strikeouts in of 21 batters she faced. She really stood out because Nebraska kind of needs another, and softball is a little bit different than baseball. Some teams kind of rely on one arm, but the more the better, I would say. And Alexis Jensen, having her as kind of the second arm behind Jordy Fromm, I think is a huge asset for Nebraska.
Yeah, she was extremely impressive. And yeah, the one thing I love about her stat line is 10 strikeouts, 0 walks. And so I think a lot of times in college softball, how things can get out of hand or you can lose games like this where teams are hitting is when you add a few walks into there. And I think, she did an unbelievable job of, if you're going to beat me, you're going to get a hit. You're going to have to find your way on. I'm not just going to hand it to you. And so she did an unbelievable job. And then, Jordy Fromm, which is kind of fun, kind of crazy that it's not Jordy Ball anymore. Jordy Fromm. I actually played baseball all growing up with Trey Fromm, who played at Nebraska. That's funny. So, went to their wedding and everything, and it was awesome. But Jordy Fromm, she's unreal. Had a few conversations with her. One of the most humble people I've ever met. And then, you look at her stat line, gave up a 1 hit, 3 strikeouts as well. So if you have these two kind of just juggernauts on the mound for you, Nebraska is going to be a really tough team to beat.
Yeah, and she came out of the bullpen, quote unquote, but not really. She was playing first base before. Pitched the 2 scoreless innings of 1 hit ball in relief. Offensively, Jessie Farrell, one of the Nebraska's transfers. She's from UNLV. She is the primary catcher for Nebraska softball this year. She had quite the introduction. First at bat as a Husker, a solo home run, goes 2 for 2, and with 2 RBIs in her debut. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better debut. I mean, she also had another home run in the Texas game that we're going to get into later too. So, I mean, if you have that kind of offense collaborative with, Jordy Fromm and you have pitching, Nebraska's going to hit a lot of home runs, and she added that. She also plays really good defense too, threw out a runner, stealing second base. So if you have a catcher who can make a difference in multiple facets of the game, it's going to be a huge difference for Nebraska as a whole.
100%. Yeah, I think this is one of the most put together lineups that Nebraska has had in the past few years. And I think it's just because you have quite a bit of maturity. You have quite a few players who have transferred in here from unbelievable schools. A few from Oklahoma. Obviously, Jordy has already been here, but a few others from Oklahoma in just well-known places. And so when you have them just putting it together and finding ways to continuously score runs, and then, on the other side of Nebraska pitching, not letting up a whole bunch of walks, Nebraska in this first game against Washington had 7 walks and 7 RBIs. So they play very well together and just put people on base and find ways to score runs and make it, really tough for a Washington who their only source of offense was them having to hit. They had to get hits while Nebraska's having quality at bats, getting on base, and then, having someone who can hit the ball over the fence and give you some easy runs.
So with that, you talk about Washington's offense. It was primarily the long ball. DeBoer hit the one, and then Gabby Toney hit the other 2, and that is how Washington scored runs, was with the long ball. Nebraska did as well. You look at the lineup, like you said, Jessie Farrell hit the home run. Lauren Kamenson came in, hit a 3-run home run in the first game, and then that's what kind of put Nebraska up. And then Nebraska held on until the end and got a win. That's just what it is. You got to win, duke it out. I find it kind of weird they played a conference team right off the bat. You don't see that too often in, like week 0 football. Like I guess that's the one outlier, but you don't see it much in like baseball, like Nebraska baseball. Next week when we'll play UConn and etc. So.
Yeah, I'm curious if it is this kind of invitational, this, round robin tournament was just kind of maybe set up way in advance. And they said, let's bring some really good talent. Let's bring some really good teams down to San Antonio, and then Washington and Texas and Nebraska were just kind of the ones that, were put into this. But it is pretty interesting that they're playing, it still doesn't even feel like it for some sports that this is like a conference matchup. But it is interesting that they're playing.
Doesn't count against your conference record though.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a downfall. The only downfall I could take away from a season opening win. Doesn't count for your conference win, but it's a win's a win. After that, Nebraska also played later that evening. First pitch got pushed back as Washington ended up getting their first win, beating UTSA 17-0 in the afternoon slated game. So Nebraska played in prime time against Texas. Number 1 Texas, number 9 Nebraska, top 10 matchup, one of the marquee games on the NCAA softball schedule yesterday. There were a lot of good games. I saw Oklahoma lost to begin the year, and it felt like Oklahoma. Arizona, who's ranked number 18, beat them, and Oklahoma is a team that is a staple in the Women's College World Series, and they usually enter in with, handful of losses. Not many of them, but they're usually untouchable. So that's a huge upset to begin the year. So that's college softball. College baseball is the same way. Any given day. So Nebraska played Texas later that night. Broke the attendance record at UTSA Roadrunner Field. Over 1,000 fans there. It makes sense. Nebraska fans traveled well there. It seemed like there were a lot of people. The weather was nice. And then Texas, obviously, they're in Austin. San Antonio's just down the road. Number one team in the country. So there was not an empty seat you could see when you were watching it on the ESPN Plus broadcast. But the fans got a lot of runs, 25 combined runs. Nebraska on the losing end of a 15-10 loss to the Longhorns. Texas is as advertised. They are. There's a reason they are number one ranked to begin the NCAA softball season. And Nebraska came out and got a lead early. Jessie Farrell, as mentioned, she hit a home run in the first inning and put Nebraska up. And it's like, okay, so she was one of the stars in the making that I think. Her and Alexis Jensen were my two takeaways from how the season began. Just because UNL transfer, Hannah Coors, a center fielder, also another transfer in. Those are kind of the two transfers Nebraska brought into play every day. But outside of that, Texas then really took control. They put up a 5 spot in the 4th inning and the 7th inning. But Nebraska did chip away, scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th, but still ended up on the wrong end of a 15-10 loss. My biggest takeaway from this one was, they hang around, with a really good team, and it's early in the season, so there's a lot of, miscues. Nebraska had the pitching, but just could not be able to weather the storm and get out of innings. And when things kind of went out of control, pop fly goes over a glove, missed ball in the outfield, a throwing error happens. The next play, Texas finds a gap, and credit to Texas. They hit the heck out of the ball. Everything was in a gap. Everything was outside reach of a glove. They were able to take advantage of those chances. That's what put them in front.
Yeah, Nebraska gave up 11 earned runs, 15 runs in general. So that's 4, unearned runs that, came from the errors that end up, extending innings, creating a higher pitch count for Jordy and Cope. And so there's multiple things that go into it. And it's early. It's day one, and you just come off your first win of the season, and you're not, you've played a few inter squad kind of scrimmages, but you're still getting comfortable. You're playing 2 games in one day. And then, you're playing the number one team in the country. And I think the big, a great takeaway from this is you put up 10 runs on them. Like, the lineup is hitting. The lineup is finding ways to get on base against some really tough pitching. And against Texas's starter, you have 7 hits, 7 runs, and only 3 strikeouts. So I think when you take that away and you go, we can, we can mash pretty much against anyone. We just have to be a little bit more consistent on the mound, which I think will definitely occur as you continuously play games.
The funny thing about this game is it was the matchup between Jordy Fromm and Tegan Kavan. It was the pitcher's duel, because these are 2 of the top pitchers in the sport, and everybody coming in was like, oh, this should be a very good pitcher's duel.
Low scoring
game. Like, maybe 1 or 2 runs makes the difference, and the other pitcher's locked in. Neither pitcher really found their rhythm, which it was interesting. It's early, you got to get your feet wet and get everything back in, get back in the routine. And both teams did make some errors. Both teams ended up with 2 in the end, but Jordy Fromm line ended up with 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Pitch count ended up being up to 58. They just could not weather the storm after that, just because they were in it. It was 4-2 after 3. Both teams put up a 5 spot in the 4th inning. That's when, Nebraska was hanging around, but then just 6 unanswered in the 6th and 7th innings for Texas, kind of put Nebraska behind. Nebraska did score those 3 runs in the end. Texas just could not buy it out there, and they were just trying to get out of it. Got a strikeout, got another one to close the game, and then that was just kind of it. You look at the box score. Jessie Farrell, I think, was kind of the standout on offense from the day. She had 3 hits in the game against Texas. It looks to be a good get from the transfer portal coming from UNLV.
100%. That's the, especially at the catcher position, where a lot of times I think in college softball, obviously those are girls that can absolutely mash and just rake, but you also really need them because of how they are behind the plate. They're limiting stolen bases. They're also limiting pass balls, wild pitches, things like that. And so you almost bring them in and say, we really need you on defense, and pretty much anything you do in the box at the plate is a plus. And so when you have a transfer like that, someone you brought in and really believed and you trusted in, and then, you have opening day and she has multiple hits, multiple home runs, you go, this was a really good get for us.
And she's right in it, right? Fits right in, fits like a glove. In Nebraska, the good thing about it, you don't have to really dwell on a loss very long in college softball. They play at 3:35 first pitch. It could be moved back because there is a game beforehand. They play at the one Roadrunner Field there on UTSA's campus. Number one, Texas. Nebraska gets another shot at them. So you wipe the slate clean. I guess, what is the mindset going into that game, Tristan? Obviously you get the win over Washington, but you drop a game, a tough loss, giving up 15 runs, some runs that were off errors and mistakes, pass balls. How do you kind of wipe the slate clean less than 24 hours later to play arguably one of the best teams in the country yet again?
I think it just comes down to taking a deep breath and you just go, we played them last night. We hit with them. We competed in the box. All it just comes down to is, let's find a way to get out of innings. Let's limit the errors. Let's make the plays that we need to. And then, when it comes to on the mound, it's just, all right, if you're going to make mistakes, keep it out of the box. In this type of game, you want to miss a ball off rather than a ball in and put it right into their barrel. So I think it's just take a deep breath, relax, and understand you can compete with this team.
Yep, and Nebraska plays them, then UTSA tonight at 6 after that one, then tomorrow morning to wrap up the UTSA Invitational against Washington. So we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll talk a little bit about college basketball, as there is a loaded slate of games here today. You're listening to Ticket Weekends, Nick Whyman and Tristan Gomes.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Blake Farm Outfitters, and we're all about equipping the modern farmer. Our team is Nebraska's go-to for precision planting, SurePoint liquid systems, Green Eye spot spray, and more. So whether you're considering an equipment upgrade, adding new tech, or just need a trained eye to service what you have, check us out. Creep on us at BlakeFarmOutfitters.com and get connected with our team of experts. We're excited to help you find what's next. That's BOECK FarmOutfitters.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Culture and Coffee with Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys is back this Friday, February 6th, featuring members from the Nebraska baseball team. Stop by this Friday between 5 and 8 p.m. as we turn the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right, a skate park. And also highlight the upcoming year for Husker baseball with players from the team. Again, that's 5 to 8 p.m. this Friday, February 6th, for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a Vintage Market Plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you won't want to miss.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Post-Game Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And we're back. Final segment of this hour here on 91.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Whyman, Tristan Gomes. 41-27, Nebraska opens up a deficit before the end of the half. We spoke into existence, I guess, because we were talking, how Rutgers was going to hang around for a bit. Nebraska puts together a little bit of a run, and here they are, 41-27, sitting with a nice, comfortable lead at the half.
Yeah, 14-point lead. And who has it been? It's been Rink Mast, which is awesome to see. I think we've all been waiting for a while. We've had other guys step up, as we talked about, but it's unbelievable to see Rink, getting the confidence back. He being the leading scorer in this first half with 13. And I think if he has a little bit, has a little 20 ball today, that's huge going forward, especially going into Purdue.
Yeah, Rink Mast, he said 13 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. That's kind of been the guy. And then you have Price Sanford and Sam Hoiberg with 7 apiece. So that really helps out. That's just kind of what's guiding Nebraska offense to a 41-27 lead over Rutgers on the road. On the other side, Tariq Francis, the number 1 scorer for the Scarlet Knights' offense, 10 points, 4 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3. That is the halftime score. Once again, 41-27 in favor of the Huskers. It's a big day for college basketball, Tristan. Not only is this game for locally with Nebraska being top ranked, you have a lot of ranked versus ranked and rivalry games per se on the schedule. Later tonight, 5:30 Central Time, first meeting of the year, number 4 Duke and number 14 North Carolina. A lot of my favorite college basketball memories are games taking part in this one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an electric environment. And yeah, I'm curious to see just how this is. I mean, both teams were led by unbelievable freshmen. And so it's going to be which freshman is going to step up and be the guy in this one. Cameron Boozer has been unreal all year for Duke and is just an elite scorer. He finds ways to get to the rim, and then he also can knock down a three. He's a guy that North Carolina is going to have to stop. But basketball is way better when it's ranked versus ranked when it comes to Duke UNC.
It's always a rivalry. This is the Michigan Ohio State of college basketball. I'd say.
100%.
And when they play, it is always worth watching. I remember a couple of years ago when Austin Rivers hit the shot at North Carolina to silence their crowd and win that game. That's one of my them. I remember like Tyler Hansborough back in the day playing. Always there's another chapter of the Duke North Carolina rivalry will be written later this afternoon. Along with that, 7:00 tonight, number 5 Illinois, number 10 Michigan State. Illinois is starting to do something. They could do something that's very kind of out of the ordinary. Be the third weekend in a row where they beat a top 10 ranked team. At the time they beat Purdue. That was a big one. Obviously, Keaton Wagler scoring 46 points up in Purdue's stadium. Last weekend, beating Nebraska at Pinnacle Bank. Wagler kind of did his own thing, had a silent first half, kind of pulled away in the second half. And now Michigan State on the road. They're trying to do 3 straight weekends beating a top 10 ranked conference foe on the road. And it's hard to pick against them right now. They might be the hottest team in the sport in general.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one, mostly because Michigan State has been struggling. Jeremy Fears has gotten a few technical fouls. Tom Izzo has been on his head a little bit and just said, I need you to lock it in. You're supposed to be a leader. There's a little immaturity there. But this is a game where I think Michigan State really wants to get back on track because they are a good basketball team and have been ranked, in the top 10 for pretty much this entire season. And so it's all right, how do we establish ourselves back up in here? And this is a game that if you win against arguably the hottest team in the country, it sets you up for a lot of success. And I know Tom Izzo is really getting on those guys. And so I think this game in East Lansing is going to be a fun one.
You have that one. And then right after that one later tonight, this one's the late tip, 9:30 Central Time, number 8 Houston on the road against number 16 BYU. You couldn't ask for a better college basketball slate. And I like that all the games are spread out. So if you are a college hoops fan, you have a loaded slate along with the Nebraska sports that are going on today too. Not only basketball right now at 41-27, the women's team tipping off at 1. Tennis is going on here in the next 5 minutes. Undefeated Nebraska, undefeated Ole Miss in men's tennis. Just down the road, literally from 1040 O Street. That's going on there. It's free to go. So if you ever been to a college tennis event, have you ever been?
I have not.
It's pretty electric. You think tennis, you see the Australian Open, it's kind of quiet. There's many matches going on at once, and it is a pretty fun environment.
They get rowdy?
They do get rowdy. It's a really good environment. Usually there's a solid fan base there, and I've been to a couple of them. It's really fun, and you get to see just kind of the emotion and of all the sports. And like I said, there's multiple matches going on at once. It's just not one match. There's probably about 4 or 5 matches going on at once. So you can look around and see a lot of matches going on. But a little housekeeping real quick. We will have post-game coverage, Nebraska Husker Hoops post-game around 1 o'clock, Nebraska leading 41-27. Along with that, Ray Alico, first serve coming up here in a matter of moments. So that is all we have here on Ticket Weeknights. Nick Whyman alongside Tristan Gomes. We'll be back here in just a short break here on 93.7 The Ticket.